looking for a door key.
Where you been all this time?
I've been to the movies.
All this time at the movies.
This was a very long program. There was a Garbo picture and a newsreel and a Mickey Mouse and a travelogue and a preview of coming attractions. There was an organ solo and a collection for the Milk Fund simultaneously, which ended up in a terrible fight between a fat lady and an usher.
Did you have to stay through everything?
Of course. Oh, and I forgot. There was a stage show. No, the headliner on this stage show was Malvolio, the magician. He performed wonderful tricks, many of them such as pouring water back and forth between two pitchers. First it turned into wine, then it turned into beer, then it turned into whiskey. Now I know that it was whiskey that it finally turned into because he needed someone to come up out of the audience to help him, so I came up. Both shows. It was Kentucky straight bourbon, a very generous fellow. He gave souvenirs. This is his magic scarf. You can have it, Laura. You wave it over a canary cage. They turn into a bowl of goldfish. And you wave it over a goldfish bowl, and they fly away, canaries. But the wonderfulest trick of all was the coffin trick. You know, we nailed him into a coffin, and he got himself out without removing one nail. Now, there is a trick that would come in handy for me. Get me out of this 2x4 situation.
Shh, Tom.
Shh.
Tom.
What are you shushing me for?
Shh. You wake up Mother.
Goody, goody. Pay her back for all those rise and shines, rise and shines. You know, Laura, it don't take much intelligence to get yourself into a nailed-up coffin. But whoever got himself out of one without removing at least one nail?
Rise and shine, rise and shine.
I'll rise, but I won't shine.
Laura, go tell your brother to rise and shine. Go tell your brother his coffee's ready.
Tom? Tom? It's nearly 7. Don't let Mother notice. Tom. Speak to Mother this morning. Make up with her. Apologize. Speak to her.
She won't to me. It's her that started not speaking.
If you would only say that you're sorry, she'd start speaking.
Her not speaking, is that such a tragedy?
Please, Tom.
Laura, are you gonna do what I asked, or do I have to get dressed and go out myself?
Going. I just have to get on my coat. Butter and what else?
Just butter and tell him to charge it.
Mother, they make such faces when I do that.
Sticks and stones may break our bones, but the expression on Mr. Garfinkel's face won't harm us. Tell your brother his coffee's getting cold.
Tom, do what I ask, will you?
Laura,
Will you,
go
Tom?
now or just don't go at all.
Going. Oh!
Laura?
Laura?
anybody falls down this land and breaks their leg, the landlord ought to be sued for every cent he's got. Well, who are you?
Mother? I apologize, Mother. I'm sorry for what I said, for everything that I said. I didn't mean it.
My devotion has made me a witch, so I make myself hateful to my children.
No, you don't.
Well, I worry so much I can't sleep, so it just makes me nervous.
I know that, Mama.
Tom, now you know I have had to fight a solitary battle all these years. But you are my right-hand bower. Now don't you fail me. Don't you fall down.
But I try, Mona.
Tom, if you try, you will succeed. You are just full of natural endowments. Well, honey, both of my children are. They're just very precious children, and I have so much to be thankful for. But now, would you just promise me one thing?
What, Mother?
Will you promise me that you won't ever become a drunkard?
I promise I'll never become a drunkard, Mother.
Come on, have some farina.
No, thanks, Mother. Just coffee.
Oh, some post toasties, some Wheaties?
No. No, thanks, Mother. Just coffee.
Honey, you can't work all day long on an empty stomach. Now, you got 10 minutes. Tom, now don't go, honey. Drinking too hot liquors makes cancer of the stomach. Now, here, put some milk in it.
No, thanks.
Well, just to cool it
No,
off.
thank you, Mother. I want a glass.
I know, but it's not good for you like that. Well, you know, and we have to build ourselves up in these trying times we live in. And all we have to depend on is each other. And that's why it's so important to... Tom, here, sit down. Come sit down, honey. Move your coffee. Tom, now, I sent out your sister because I wanted to discuss something with you. Now, you hadn't spoken to me. I was going to speak to you.
Well, what is it, Mother, that you want to discuss?
Laura.
Laura?
Tom, now you know how Laura is. She's so quiet, but still waters run deep. And she notices things, and I think she broods about them. Now, I came in here the other day, and she was crying.
What about?
You.
Me?
Now, she has this idea that you are not happy here.
Well, what gave her that idea?
What gives her any idea? But, honey, you have been acting kind of strangely. Tom, I am not criticizing much. Now, I know that your ambitions do not lie at the White House, and like everybody else in the whole wide world, you too have had to make sacrifices. But, Tom, life is not easy. It calls for Spartan endurance. Tom, there are just so many things in my heart that I cannot describe to you. Now, I never told you, but I did love your father.
I know that, Mama.
But when I see you, and you were taking after his ways, and you were staying out all night, and you had been drinking the other night when you were in that terrifying condition, and now Laura tells me that you hate this apartment, and you go out nights to get away from it. Now, is that true?
No. Mother, you say there's so much in your heart that you can't describe to me. Well, that's true of me too, Mother. There's so much in my heart that I can't describe to you. So let's just respect each other's...
Honey, why are you so restless? Where do you go to nights?
I go to the movies.
Why do you go to the movies so much?
I go to the movies because I like adventure, and adventure's something I don't get much of at work, so I go to the movies.
Honey, you go to the movies entirely too much.
I like a lot of adventure.
Well, most young men find adventure in their careers.
Most young men are not employed at warehouses.
The world is full of young men who are employed at warehouses and offices and
And
factories.
do all of them find adventure in their careers?
Well, they do, or they do without. Not everybody in the whole wide world has a craze for adventure.
Mother, man is by instinct a lover, a hunter, and a fighter, and none of those instincts get much play at a warehouse.
Man is by instinct?
Yes.
Don't you quote instinct to me. Now, instinct is something people have gotten away from. It belongs to animals. Christian adults don't want it.
Well, what do Christian adults want then, Mother?
Things of the mind and of the spirit. Only animals have to satisfy their instincts. Now, surely your aims are somewhat higher than theirs, than monkeys and pigs.
Well, I reckon they're not.
Tom, you must be joking. But that's not what I wanted to talk to you
Mother,
about.
I haven't got time.
You've got 5 minutes.
You want me to punch in red at the warehouse?
Tom, I must talk to you about Laura.
All right, what? What about Laura?
We have got to be making some plans and provisions for her. Well, she's older than you. And Tom, nothing is happening for her. She just drifts along, doing nothing.
Well, I reckon she's the type that people call homegirls.
Honey, there's no such type. And if there is, it's a pity. Unless the home is hers, with a husband in it.
What?
Tom, I can see the handwriting on the wall as plain as I can see the nose on my face. More and more, you remind me of your father. Well, he was gone out all night long without any explanation, and then one day, he was just gone. Goodbye, and leaving me with the bag to hold. Now, I saw that letter you got from the Merchant Marines. Well, I saw it. And I know what you're dreaming of. I'm not standing here blindfolded. All right, do it. But not until you have somebody to take your place.
What do you mean?
I mean, when Laura has somebody to take care of her, when she's married with a home of her own, independent, then you can go wherever you like, on land, on sea, wherever the wind blows you. But until that time, you have got to take care of your sister. Now, Tom, I don't say me because I'm old and I don't matter, but I say your sister because she's young and she's dependent.
But, Mother, what can I do about it?
You can overcome selfishness. Tom, self, that is all you ever think about. Tom, now wait, Tom. No, Tom, wait. I didn't say what I was in mind to ask you.
I'm too late to.
Look here, put on your muffler. Put on your wool muffler. Tom. Now, down at the warehouse, aren't there some nice young men?
No.
Oh, there must be some. Just please find one who's clean living, who doesn't drink, and ask him out for sister.
What?
For sister, to meet, to get acquainted.
Gosh.
Oh, will you? Will you, dear?
Yes.
Ella Cartwright? Oh, well, this is Amanda Wingfield. Well, now first, Ella, how is your kidney problem? It's come back? Oh, Ella, you are a Christian martyr. No, that is what you are. You are a Christian martyr. Well, now, Ella, I have been looking through my little red book here, and I see where your subscription to the Companion has run out. And it's just when that wonderful new serial by Bessie May Harper starting. It's the one that's all about the horsey set on Long Island. And you have? You've already read it? Well, how do you think it turns out? Well, no, Bessie May Harper never let you down. Well, Ella, you have to. Ella, you have to have complications. Can't have a story without complications. But Bessie May Harper always leaves you with such an uplift. Ella, what's the matter? Well, you sound so mad. You mean because it's only 7 o'clock in the morning? Oh, Ella, I'm sorry. I forgot you never got up before 9. Well, I forgot anybody in the whole wide world was allowed to sleep as late as that. Well, I can't say anything, but I'm sorry, can I? You will? You will take that subscription from me anyhow? Well, bless you. Bless you. Bless you, Ella. Bless you, bless you.
Across the alley from us was the Paradise Dance Hall. On evenings in the spring, the windows and doors would be open and the music would come outside. Sometimes they would turn out all the lights except for a large glass sphere which hung from the ceiling. And it would turn slowly about and filter the dusk with delicate rainbow colors. Then the orchestra would strike up a waltz or a tango, something that had a slow and sensuous rhythm. Couples would come outside to the relative privacy of the alley. You could see them kissing behind ash pits and telephone poles. This was compensation for lives that passed like mine without any change or adventure. Adventure and change were imminent in this year. They were waiting around the corner for all these kids. Suspended in the mist over Berchtesgaden, caught in the folds of Chamberlain's umbrella. In Spain, there was civil war. Here, there was only hot swing music and liquor, dance halls, bars, and movies. And sex, which hung in the gloom like a chandelier and flooded the world with brief, deceptive rainbows. All the world was waiting for bombardments.
Tom!
came out to smoke, Mother.
You smoke too much. Pack a day at 15 cents a pack? Now, how much would that be in a month? 15 times 30. Well, wouldn't be too much, but would be enough to go towards a night school course and a captain at the Washington U. Now, wouldn't that be lovely?
I'd rather smoke.
No, that's the tragedy of you. This fire-escape landing is a poor excuse for that porch we used to have. What you looking at?
Moon.
Is there a moon this evening? Oh, so there is. Just a little silver slip of a moon. Well, did you make a wish on it?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you wish for?
That's a secret.
All right, I won't tell you what I wished for. I can be just as mysterious as you can.
But I can guess what you wish.
Why? Now, is my head transparent?
You're not a sphinx.
No, I don't keep secrets. I'll tell you what I wished for. I wished for success and happiness for my precious children. That's what I wish for every time there's a moon, and when they're in the moon, I wish for it too.
I thought perhaps you wished for a gentleman caller.
Now, what makes you say that?
Oh, you don't remember asking me to fetch one?
I remember suggesting that it would be nice for your sister if you brought home some nice young man. I think I made that suggestion more than once.
Yes, you made it repeatedly.
Well?
We are going to have one.
What?
A gentleman caller.
Do you mean that you have asked some nice young man to come over?
Yep. I have asked him to dinner.
You really did?
I did.
Did he accept?
He did.
He did?
He did.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
Yes. I thought that you would be pleased.
Well, now, this is definite.
Pretty definite.
How soon?
Pretty soon.
Well, how soon?
Quite soon.
How soon?
Very soon.
Oh, Tom, every time I want to know something, you go on like that.
Mother, what do you want to know?
Well, guess. Just go on and guess.
You want to know when the gentleman caller's coming to dinner? He's coming tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
No, I can't do anything about tomorrow. I can't do anything about tomorrow.
Why not?
But it didn't give me any time.
Time for what?
Preparations. You should have called me the minute you invited him, the minute he accepted.
Mother, you don't have to make any fuss.
Well, of course I have to make a fuss. I can't have a man coming into a place that's all sloppy. It has to be thrown together properly. Ooh. I have to do some fast thinking by tomorrow night, too.
Mother, I don't see why you have to think at all.
That's because you just don't know. You just don't know, that's all. I cannot have a gentleman caller coming into a pigsty. Oh, now let me see. Oh, I wonder how that old lace tablecloth is holding up after all these years. Oh, Tom, we can't weigh anything. We haven't got it. We haven't got anything to weigh. We haven't got it.
Mother, this is no boy to make a fuss over.
I don't know how you can say that when this is the first gentleman caller your little sister has ever had. Now come on inside.
What for?
Because I want to ask you a few things.
Mother, if you are going to make a fuss, I will call the whole thing off. Mother, I will tell him not to come.
You can't do that. People hate broken engagements, then they got no place to go. Now come on inside. Now sit down.
Any particular place that you'd like me to sit?
Sit anywhere. Oh. Now look at that. Isn't that saddest thing you've ever seen in your life. What am I going to do about that? Oh, I know. I can get a bright piece of cretonne. Now, that won't cost too much. And I made a down payment on the floor lamp, so I'll have that sent out. And I can put a bright cover on that chair. And oh, I wish I had time to paper the walls. Now, what is his name?
His name is O'Connor.
O'Connor? He's Irish? Well, tomorrow's Friday. That means fish. Oh, that's all right. I'll make that salmon loaf with the mayonnaise dressing. Now, where did you meet him?
At the warehouse, of course. Where else would I meet him?
I don't know. Does he drink?
Why do you ask me that?
Because your father did.
Mother, don't get started on that.
He drinks then.
Not that I know of.
Well, you have got to find out. The one thing I do not want for my daughter is a man who drinks.
You're not being the tiniest bit premature. Mr. O'Connor has not yet arrived on the scene.
He will tomorrow night to meet your sister. And what do I know about his character?
What are you doing?
With that cow leg, I wish you would stay back by yourself. Oh, Tom, will you...
Mother, lots of boys meet girls whom they don't marry.
You know you have always had me puzzled because you could not stick on one subject. Now, what I want to know is, what is his position down at the White House?
His position is that of a shipping clerk.
Shipping clerk? Well, that sounds pretty important to me. Well, that's where you'd be if you had any get up. Now, how much does he earn?
I would judge his salary to be approximately $85 per month.
$85 a month? Well, that's not princely.
20 more than I make.
Oh, how well I know that. $85 a month. Family man can't get by on $85 a month.
Mr. O'Connor is not a family man.
Well, he might be one day, mightn't he?
I see. Plans and provisions.
You know, Tom, you are the only young man I know that ignores the fact that the future becomes the present the past, and the past turns into everlasting regret unless you plan for it.
I'll think that over and see what I can make of it.
Don't be supercilious with your mother. Now tell me some more about Mr. O'Connor. Now, Mr. O'Connor, we've got to have another name besides Mr.
James D. O'Connor. The D is for Delaney.
Delaney. He's Irish on both sides and he doesn't drink.
Shall I call him up and ask him?
Oh, Tom!
No, I'll call him up and ask him.
Do that. You got to be discreet about that subject. Why, when I was a girl in Blue Mountain and it was suspected that a young man was drinking and some girl was receiving his attentions, then if some girl was receiving his attention, she would go to the minister of his church and ask about his or her father. If her father were living, it was his duty to go to the minister of his church and ask about his character. Now, that is how young girls from Blue Mountain were kept from making tragic mistakes.
Then how did it happen that you made such a tragic mistake, Mother?
That face fooled everybody. All he had to do was grin. The world was bewitched. I think there's nothing more tragic than a young girl just putting herself at the mercy of a handsome appearance. And I hope that Mr. O'Connor is not too good looking.
As a matter of fact, he isn't. He has rather a large nose, which he compensates for by not having much of a chin.
He's not right down homely, is he?
Not right down homely. Medium homely, I'd say.
Well, if a girl had any sense, she would look for character in a man anyway.
That's what I've always said.
You've always said that. You have always said that?
Yes.
Well, now, how could you always say that if you never even thought about it?
Mother, don't be so suspicious of me.
I am. I am suspicious of every word that comes out of your mouth when you're talking to me. Now, tell me some more about this young man. Now, is he up and coming?
Yes. I think he really goes in for self-improvement.
And what makes you say that?
He goes to night school.
Night school? What does he do at night school?
He studies radio engineering and public speaking.
Public speaking. Now that shows he intends to be an executive. And radio engineering, well, that's coming,
I'm afraid it's here.
Those are very illuminating facts. Facts that any mother should know about any young man who's coming to call on her daughter. Serious or not?
One little warning, Mother. I didn't tell him about Lara. I didn't let on that we had dark, ulterior motives. I simply said, why don't you come over for dinner? He said, okay. And that was the whole conversation.
I bet it was, too. Sometimes you can be eloquent as an oyster. However, when he sees how sweet and how pretty that child is, he's going to be so glad he was invited over here to have some dinner.
Mother, you won't expect too much of Lara, will you?
I don't know what you mean.
Mother, Lara seems all those things to us because she's ours and we love her. We don't even notice she's crippled anymore.
Hush. Use that word. Don't
Lara
use
is
it.
crippled. She is. Face facts, and that's not all.
What do you mean that's not all?
Lara is very different from other
Well,
girls.
I know that, and I think the difference is all in her favor,
No,
too.
no, not quite all. Mother, in the eyes of others, strangers, she is terribly shy, and she lives in a world of her own. And that can make her seem peculiar to other people. She is
Word peculiar? Well, I don't know in what way she's peculiar.
Mother, she lives in a world of little glass ornaments. She sits and plays those old phonograph records. That's about all.
Where are you going?
I'm going to the movies.
Laura? Laura?
Yes, Mother?
Honey, leave that ironing and come on out here. Come on. Honey, come on out and make a wish on the moon. Moon? Is it just a little silver slip of a moon?